is actually called vacuuming your relationship. And basically, you and your other half get vacuum sealed together for a photo to show just how together you are.
What? Do you need oxygen though when you're in there? What do you do for breathing?
Yeah, I mean, the photographer says that they have a paramedic standing by. So please note, this really... No, I'm going to do my that now. This could be very, very dangerous. And in Japan, they have a paramedic on standby when they do this, so please do not, under any circumstances, try this at home without making sure you can breathe. So, anyone fancy?
Did I not keep the umbilical cord?
Yeah, the kids are... Because they give
I nearly
you it,
didn't keep
don't
the
they?
kid. Why am I going to keep the umbilical cord?
Did you keep yours? Well, funnily enough, I didn't consciously keep it, but, I mean, and this wasn't that long ago.
How can you unconsciously keep it?
I was looking for, you know these clips that you get to sort of keep your cornforflakes fresh? You know, so I was looking for one of those in a drawer, and I found it. Oh, good, I found one. And there was a bit of the cord attached to it. I must have stuck it in there.
Hold on a minute. How old's your youngest?
9.
So you've had that in your drawer for 9
I
years
must have
with
just
your
stuck it there. I
cutlery.
thought I'd
You
do something
haven't
with
cleaned
that
your
later.
kitchen drawers out for 9 years.
Speaking of shocking stories, I read one today that literally blew my mind. It was about a couple. She's given up her job so that she can full-time breastfeed her husband.
What's wrong with that? Why?
First of all, one thing I'm starting to take offense to, too, is that all these things, I was reading it, and they're called an adult breastfeeding couple, a nursing couple. And then I was watching a program a while ago, and it was about adult babies. And then the other night, I don't know if you saw the one about my secret life as a pup. And let's just call it what it is. It's just freaky deaky. Like, you're just doing some weird fetishy things, and that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
But
Well,
they say
it creates it's called adult breastfeeding relationships, and it creates a magical bond that only breastfeeding can achieve.
Between a mother and baby partners,
That actually makes me want to vomit.
It makes me feel sick, honestly. But I mean, so what are they doing for income? I mean, she's given up work to stay at home and breastfeed him. So how are they earning money?
Listen, I hope it doesn't come into law, because if I have to give up to do that, Steve would be dead. And we'd be unemployed.
It's hard to get milk for babies, let alone having
Can
to
you
give it to
imagine the
partners?
awkward moment you walk into Starbucks and that's happening?
Angelo Gallo says that a little bit of, as she puts it, self-loving is the best form of pain relief during
she did mean that here in the front.
Nadia, do you remember we talked about master dating a while back? Yeah, it's a bit like that, only in a hospital when you're having... Or maybe not in hospital, maybe at home when you're just having your baby.
Jamila is not recovering from this.
You know, the thing is, I'm not against self-love, you know, no, I actually think it's quite, you know, it's quite healthy, it's fine, cool. But during childbirth, are they serious? That's the last thing you're thinking of, it really is. And I get the idea, you know, the oxytocin being released and all that, but and I don't want to put anyone off, because having children is the greatest thing, and once you actually give birth and it's out, it's beautiful. But the whole process, really, are we going to...
Do you know what just makes me laugh is, you know, everyone talks about, you know, whale music. This case would be Barry White. Let's get it on.
When I read about it, I thought, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's bonkers, because if you marry yourself, who are you going to moan at?
Moaning, not about like going for
Who are you going to moan at? Who are you going to boss about? But then I thought, well, I've got this friend who's quite a famous artist, Tracy Emin, and last year, I think she's had a few disastrous relationships, and she hasn't even found Mr. 20%, let alone Mr. Perfect. And so she announced very publicly she'd married a rock. And I think she said she'd married the rock because it was very beautiful and very dignified, and wasn't going to let her down.
But you know, that's a good thing. Maybe she's finally had acceptance that Mr. Right isn't out there.
You could marry a vacuum cleaner, that would let you go. And you could even send off a spare part.
But the good thing is, at least they're never going to cheat on you. You're never going to cheat on yourself. You're not going to clean anybody else's hair out of the sink.
Well, yeah. You do worry, though, don't you, that if if you're have such a desire to get married, you're willing to go to such an extent. I mean, that in itself has to be analysed or looked at. I mean, if one of my friends comes to me now and said, I'm going to marry myself, I can't wait for you all to know. Like, really? I think you and I need to have a talk. You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't you really?
Is that your comment?
That's my...
Well, you say, but what she was doing was trying to turn something that could have been a little bit scary and a bit daunting, and it is quite a daunting thing, into something that was fun.
And humiliating. I would have died 1,000 deaths if my mother had done that. I mean, maybe I'm from a different generation and people are more open now, but I don't know. I learned all about periods. I think I had one conversation with my mother, I remember vaguely. Didn't do it at school. Everything I learned. Do you remember Kathy and Claire in Jackie magazine? Yes. Everything I learned about periods was from Kathy and Claire in Jackie magazine and my friends, and obviously a few warped ideas of what periods were, but no, and my daughters are obviously a different generation. I think if I did that, they would think I'd lost my mind.
Can you see where she's coming from, though?
Did she have to use red for the icing? Apparently, yeah. I mean, you know, when you see any adverts on television to do with this subject, they always use blue.
Always blue.
Yeah. And she could have used blue, at least.
Well, apparently in the cake shop, the lady said, sure you don't want blue? No, she wanted red. She definitely wanted red.
The surges were much more manageable, and the rest between them so much more enjoyable. If I close my eyes now, I'm taken back to that place. She was having a water breath. The hot water on my back, my husband's hands locked in mine, the safety of his presence, the happiness as I rode those wild waves.
We are here today to celebrate the coming together of Janet and her favourite person in the world, herself. If any person has a reason why Janet and Janet may not be joined together, speak now or forever hold your peace. Do you, Janet, take you, Janet, to be your lawfully wedded Janet?
Yeah, why not?
Things we talk about on here. Like when I came to work this morning, I never thought I'd be having that conversation.
I didn't think that was on the...
Isn't it brilliant?